Lots to discuss here, and for help with that, we are joined by Democratic analyst Jonathan Harris and the commentary editor for the Washington Times, Kelly Sadler. Happy Monday to both of you. Jonathan, I'm going to dive right in with you here. The razor-thin margin in Wisconsin for the past two presidential elections. How important is winning Wisconsin to both candidates, and how do you think it's going to go?
Oh gosh, it's very hard. It's very difficult to predict how an election is going to go. I've found that for the most part, election predictions are almost the easiest way to end up with egg on your face. The best thing you can do is look at the data that we have in the past and kind of some of the indicators that lead to it. I know one of the longest standing election standards is it's the economy stupid, which is if the economy is doing well, a president usually gets reelected. If it's not doing well, they usually lose. That certainly held in 2020 when the economy wasn't doing well and Trump lost his bid for re-election. Beyond that, it's really, really tough. But certainly with an electoral college system, every state victory matters.
Absolutely, Kelly. Obviously, it's coming down to Trump and Biden. They've got the nominations here. It'll happen this summer at the conventions. But Wisconsin, do you think the undecided votes are going to play against Biden as they might in Michigan moving forward? We were talking about that 100,000 votes that kind of were a protest against Biden there in the primary.
Well, listen, I was on President Trump's reelection campaign in 2020. I was on his super PAC, and we were managing things. We were managing polls. And let me just tell you, in 2020, Donald Trump was never up in a poll in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, or Arizona, right? Those are the battleground states that one needs to win in order to win the Electoral College. Now, every poll is showing that Donald Trump is the winner, and Wisconsin is kind of the outlier. It's within the margin of error, right? But if the blue wall falls, if Michigan goes to Donald Trump, if Ohio goes to Donald Trump, which it most likely will, Pennsylvania is still kind of to be called, but Wisconsin will fall to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is looking much stronger in 2024 than he ever looked in 2020.
I want to get to this, Jonathan. Election integrity also on the ballot in Wisconsin. What do you make of this? How concerned are voters, maybe even not just in Wisconsin, but across the country, when they think about the security of their votes in November? A hot topic on both sides.
I know that election integrity is one of those things very much like the border that plays much more to right-leaning conservatives than it does to the rest of the country. I know that that's something that they try to gin up a lot. But I mean, the reality is all of the data shows that our elections are overwhelmingly secure. I know that there's been a conversation about some of the voter roll situations, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that there are federal protections that protect against overzealous purging of voters. So the voter rolls are always bound to be a little bit out of sync with actual voters in states, because when, for example, if people move out of state, they don't often remove themselves from the voter rolls, and per federal law, you have to wait a certain amount of years before you remove them. So those are always bound to be out of sync. But when it comes to actual election results, our elections are overwhelmingly secure and voter fraud is almost non-existent. But if you say that to somebody on the right, they would throw a hissy fit because they've been told otherwise for quite some time. It's just interesting that conservatives are the ones that are most concerned about this when it is the leader of their party, Trump, that is literally on trial for trying to overturn an election. I mean, he tried to invalidate millions of votes so that he could win an election, which is
Jonathan, I know
really
a lot of people don't agree with these indictments against the former president at all, if you're referring to what's going on in Georgia and in D.C.
I just mean that they're there.
Kelly, I want to give you a chance to respond. I know you don't agree.
No, just for Jonathan's perspective, he just dismissed immigration out of hand, because if you're not a border state, then you're not feeling this. I mean, there was a town hall article that came out today that was saying that illegal immigrants are getting 7 times more federal taxpayer dollars than our veterans are. They're being cared for more than our veterans. So if you're not a border state, if you're just a resident in America, in any state, you're feeling that you're getting pinched economically. But everything is giving to these migrants. They're getting debit cards with, thousands of dollars on them. They're getting free health care. They're getting free education. And who is the one paying for that? Us American taxpayers. And that goes through all 50 states It's not just a border state. So this is a huge issue, and this is going to be a huge issue coming in November. And as far as election integrity goes, yes, there was a lot of concerns going into 2020 because a lot of these states passed laws at the last minute that allowed for more ballots to be counted, and there was no security around them. And the RNC, I will give some criticism to them. In 2020, the lawyers did not challenge all of these state rules. There was Zuckerbuck ballot boxes. There was a lot of things that we need to get control of to make sure that 2024 is not a repeat of 2020, so everyone feels secure when they go to cast their ballot this election season, that it is going to count and it is going to matter, and there's going to be safeguards against those that want to commit fraud.
Okay.
Can I just say that
10 seconds, John.
I didn't dismiss immigration. I'm just saying that there are some sides that see it as a huge uncontrollable issue, and other sides that recognize that this is something
It's
that
totally
predates
controllable. It's totally controllable. Build the wall, deport the criminals.
Can I please finish?
Okay, guys, I got to jump in here. Ding, ding. I'm sounding the bell here. Producers are telling me to keep the segment moving. Hey, Jonathan, I don't want to cut you off. I love having these discussions, these very robust debates here on American Agenda, but we are out of time here. Let's revisit it maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
Why don't you both come back? All right, Jonathan, Kelly, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.